Ow. So, you want to get into a tabletop RPG game, huh? Like, for real. Not just like apply to one and then like, oh no, by the time you submitted your application, the game is already no longer receiving any. Because there's just that many people out there, right? Or you submit one, you do get it one in before, it ends, right? The application process ends, and then like, you just never hear anything back from them, and from the GM, right? And then you message them, you DM them a couple of times, and they just like ignore you. It's just weird, right? Like that's weird. How? How are you supposed to do this then? How do you get into a D&D game, a Vampire the Requiem game, a Lancer game, anything, 100% guaranteed, start to finish, you can play, no interruptions. How do you do that? Well, the answer is really simple, actually. So, first of all, you get the book, right? Like the core rule book, most of the books sometimes, right? Most of it, if it's that kind of game. And then you turn to either, one of the chapters in the back or the second book, the GM's handbook, the little chapters, right, that tell you how to run the game, right? You do that. You look it up, you read through it after you've already read the basics of how to run the game, how to play it, right? You do that, you think about it, right? You internalize how to do it, think about what you want to run, right? Either look up the little modules they sell, or the free ones. There's a lot of free ones out there that you can just pick up and run, play for like a couple of sessions, right? There's always stuff like that out there available. There's a lot of people, right? You do that, and then you post your little form, your little questionnaire. You post that on a public forum, like a community Discord server, or your friend group, or something more impersonal like Roll20, the place where you want to run the game, right? And then you look for people. You look for people who want to play it too. And then you just like go over the responses bit by bit, look for normal but interesting people, right? The kind of people you'd want to get a beer with, right? Like if I just talk to this person outside of the context of a D&D group, a Lancer group, would I want to talk to them afterwards, right? This is after the session, after the one shot, whatever, right? You pick out these people, who can make the time you set up, and then you invite them to your server and you run the fucking game. Because that's the only way, near guaranteed, you can get a game and play and run it not every single week. People are gonna be missing or whatever, but you know what I mean, right? It's the only way you can do it. And I know it's the only way you can do it. Because life, it doesn't work like the fairy tales. There's no one true path to victory, right? I can't give you any like little tips and secrets that tell you exactly how to act, behave, so that you can break into a game somehow, right? That's just not how it works. It's like a job interview, right? If you're applying for a game, right, it's just like a job interview. All of the little questions, all of the little things they make you read, right? They're just there to make sure you understand what the fuck you're getting into, right? That you're but you're just understanding them or trying to the same way they are, that you're respectful, that you'll show up on time, that you understand what they're trying to do, the sort of people they want to be around, just I could tell you to do all that. You can be as normal as you'd like, read and understand as much of the OC document, the premise, and you still won't get in. You might still not get in. Because there's gonna be a fucking 100, 1,000, hundreds of thousands, a million other people who read that same document and thought, fuck, that sounds super fun. I want to get in on this action. Right? So you kind of have to be the GM. You kind of have to be the, what's the word? Helen, right? Helen of Troy. The ship whose face launched off. Fuck! You kind of have to be like that. You kind of have to be the GM, because now you're just not another face in the crowd. You're like him, man. You're like her. You know what I mean? Like, you're the person everybody wants to be around, the person everybody's fighting for. Because honestly, GMing it's something people are built up to be afraid of doing, right? Like, I know most of y'all. I know where most people get into this hobby from, right? You watch like Critical Role or something like that, right? Like Dimension 20, right? Like all that really, 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 really cool shit was like voices and super intricate looking sets and planning and forethought, right? But like, you expect that of any GM you play with, at least at first, right? You learn to unlearn that later on, because it's just not realistic. It's just kind of a weird thing to assume, and honestly, that like at least some of that is staged, right? Like, it's literally their job, and they're literally working with actors usually. So there's a lot more like, what's the word, planning and forethought, and like, surprises that aren't really surprises. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying that like there's an element of kayfabe involved, right? Like, it's just how it is. It's just how it is. And by God, do I actually really respect these people, because if it wasn't for them, D&D would just kind of, D&D, Lancer, this entire hobby would be so much lesser without them around, bringing in all of those people, right? It's just kind of how it is, right? But like, you can't expect yourself to be like that. Not on your first game, not in your 10th game, maybe not ever, right? Because it's not your job. First of all, you're gonna have a normal life, right? 9 to 5, probably like some sort of lover, like maybe a kid at someday, right? You just don't have the time for that, and a full-time job, and also like, it's a really expensive hobby if you try to make it like that. No, if you're playing online and it's your first game, or like your 7th or 5th or whatever, right? Campaign-wise, people are just gonna go wild usually if you just show them like a map and just say shit. Like, you don't have to do the funny voices. I've never played with a GM who's done the funny voices really, but they all like got me super. Most of them got me super into character and super into this hobby, just and because anyway, right? I've been playing tabletop RPG games for, I don't know, about like 10, 11 years by now. I wouldn't exactly call it an obsession, even though, this isn't like a tabletop RPG reference anyway. I kind of fucked up and just realized I don't have a chain. Ignore that. Anyway, what was I saying again? Oh, right. Yeah, I've been in here for like 10, 11 years. I've never played with a GM like that. Even if like they were really, really big fans of Critical Role or whatever, because it's just not really the expectation, you know? You just nobody really does that, and that's fine. You most of what D&D, Lancer, any tabletop RPG is just making time every week. Maybe not every week, sometimes bi-weekly, right? Whenever you can, once at least, usually, but not always. I'm rambling. Once a week, 3 to 4 hours. You make that commitment. You hang out with all of your friends. You roll your little dice and have your little drama or whatever. I mean, it's improv theater, right? It's improv comedy. It's just improv theater without any costumes, and also algebra is involved somehow for some reason, right? Like, it's fun. It's really helped me become a better person in certain ways. Like, I've I've joined games just to try and make fun of the people in them before, and then I actually walked in there and thought, "Damn!" And you work for the British government? Jesus, maybe I am a terrible person, and I should maybe not let 4chan or whatever color what I think of people that are just slightly different to me, and also not actually all that different from me, it turns out. I guess what I'm just saying is like, just go out there and fucking play the game, nerd. Just go out there and run it. If you really want to like play for some reason, sort of like GMing play, which like GMing is also a form of play. It's really fun. If you if you like playing, shaping the story, right, creating the entire world, being a lot of different people, GMing is for you. But if you just want to like be one person for once, right, or if you just want to play as in like be a normal player, then like do what I said. Act like you're applying to a regular 9 to 5 job, right? You're not gonna apply to a job just because, right? You're at least vaguely aware of what it's gonna be about, and whether or not it's even in your skill set, whether it's even a time you can make, right? And then you show up, you try to be normal but interesting. What's the word? You express yourself in certain ways. I accidentally hit the mic there, sorry. I'm not gonna fix that. You're right, like you just explain what your deal is and try to be normal about it, I guess. I'm saying normal a lot. It doesn't really feel like a real word anymore. Right? Just be the guy that want to have a drink with, right? Be the girl that want to have a drink with on a warm Sunday night. You're in a bar. You look over and it's like, hey, that's your buddy, that's your pal, right? You know them. You want to be the person they know. Because genuinely, there's no other way to make it work. Because you're gonna be stuck there for months, if not years. And like, you know, might as well be serious about it, you know. Anyway, thank you for listening to me ramble about like RPGs. I don't actually know how long. I have a bag over my head. I didn't actually fully strip this one. Yeah. Expect more like a tabletop RPG or honestly movie or game review content from here on out. Like, none of my video game projects are happening right now due to interpersonal stuff. Mostly resolvable stuff, right? Like, I need to get a new artist. There's another video game project that's super interesting, but like, the woman working on it is like, preparing for a trip or whatever, and I'm gonna be a little busy next month anyway. So, but like, I'm still out here, I'm still making art, I'm still writing. Where in the hell should I end this?